Hey, welcome everyone to Chair Flow. We'll get going in a couple of minutes, finding a chair. We will stand up a little bit today and we'll use the chair as a support for that standing. Anyway, half-hour class. If you can spare half an hour just to relax, do a little chair flow, go for it. And we'll see you real soon. Welcome everyone to Chair Flow. Half-hour quickie here. A little hot here in San Francisco. We have the windows closed. We've got smoke moving in again. Hopefully that moves back out, but it is what it is. So finding your chair, I'll suggest coming to the edge of your chair. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones. Relax shoulders, tall for the crown of the head. I'll invite you to tuck your chin ever so slightly as we start to bring our attention inward. And I'll invite you to start our practice this afternoon just by watching our breath as it flows in and as it flows out. Arriving here on our yoga chair, ready for a half hour of chair flow. This place of just watching your breath. I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, matched by a long, slow exhalation. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. And as you breathe out, I'll invite you to squeeze the low belly in and up. Squeeze a little more air out, also providing structural support for a low back with that abdominal engagement on the exhalation. To this deeper, fuller breath, I'll invite you to find Jiva Bandha, the tongue loop, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind the teeth. Hard to see, hard to demonstrate, but keeping that tongue to hard palate connection is like sometimes referred to as the tongue loop. Keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our body. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you close the eyes, opening your eyes, and let's start a little standing sequence, and we can use our chair for support. So without using your hands, I'll invite you to shift your weight into your feet as we come to a stand. From here, let's walk around and find the back of our chair. You could always switch your chair sideways. And let's do a chair dog here. So hands on the back of the chair. I'm going to walk my feet back and just stretching it on out. Let me go sideways, better visual for you all. So I'm here. In my chair dog, I'll invite you to walk the dog as I bend one leg deeply, and then finding that second side. And then freely moving back and forth between the sides, just stretching it out, working those hips, working that low back. And then coming back center, keeping the knees a little bit soft, I'll invite you to make chair dog circles as we circle our hips. Say 5 or 6 times each way, about halfway done here. One more this direction. And then taking those chair dog circles the other way. Halfway done. Last two. Last one. And back to center. Walking the feet in towards the chair front. I'm going to go back a little bit so my face is still in frame. Let me adjust the camera here. And let's work a balancing pose with our chair, the chair tree. I'll allow you to have one hand on the chair. We can find a kickstand tree. Heel finds ankle knob. We can find a calf tree. We can reach down to catch that thigh to find a thigh tree. This is much easier with the hand on the chair. We can bring one hand to heart, either keeping one hand at heart, one hand on the chair. Maybe see what happens if you start to lift that hand off a little bit. Maybe it's able to join at the heart. We can bring hand back to the chair to stabilize the shape. We can lift hand high to the sky. Again, maybe play with lifting that hand on the chair off just a tad. Maybe we stretch that hand high. We can bring hand back to the chair. If you've never looked up in the tree pose, awesome way to get to that place. As we look up with a hand on the chair, and then maybe, or maybe not, that other hand joins up in the sky. Hand comes back to the chair. High hand comes back to the heart. Chair hands joins at the heart. Hand comes back to the chair. Heart hand finds the hip. Chair hand finds the hip. Hand comes back to the chair. We can swing this thigh front. We release the thigh, the toe points down. Now if you're working one of the other versions, lifting that thigh high, and then either keeping hand on chair or two hands find the hips. Either keeping that knee bent or going long through that leg. Lifting that leg a little higher, and again, you can always bring hand to chair. And then let's lower that leg, and let's just give it a shake, keep it a little loose. At any point, if you feel wobbly, hand can always come to the chair. Let's find our chair tree on the other side. We can bring that chair on over. We've got hand on a chair. We can work our kickstand tree. And you get all the movements right here. If you want to challenge your balance a little bit more, you can find that calf tree. And again, you can work all the movements from here. If you want to reach down and catch the foot with a hand on a chair, it's really easy to place that foot really high up on the thigh. Wherever you're working, hand finds the hip. Maybe the chair hand joins. If it feels like you're about to fall, just bring it back to the chair. Hand comes back to the chair, hand finds the heart. Maybe chair hand joins. Hand comes back to the chair, maybe we stretch that hand high. Maybe the other hand joins it up in the sky. You can always come back to the chair. Now looking up, this is more challenging than it seems as we play with our proprioception. As we look up with a hand on the chair, much, much easier. And then from here, maybe that other hand joins up in the sky. Hand comes back to the chair. We can bring our gaze back down to the earth. Heart, hand finds the heart. Chair hand joins at the heart. Hand comes back to the chair. Heart hand becomes hip hand. Hand either stays on the chair or joins at the hip. Hand comes back to the chair. We can swing the thigh front. Releasing the thigh, finding the flamingo. Either hand stays on chair or hand finds the hip. Hand comes back to the chair as we go long for the leg, either keeping hand on chair or the hand joins at the hip. Lifting that leg a little higher. And then lowering the leg. And again, keep it loose. Again, if it feels wobbly, just grabbing that chair to find your balance. From here, let's come back to our chair dogs, giving ourselves lots of permission to stretch and breathe. Again, just pedaling our chair dog from side to side. And then back to center again. We're working those chair dog circles with our hips. And 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Taking those chair dog circles the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then walking ourselves on in. From here, let's come back to a seat in our chair. Now, a great way to sit up and sit down is not use the hands as we start to find a little more strength in our legs, a little more strength in our center. When we sit down, palms on our thighs, relax shoulders. Feel free to do this along with me. Ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips as we sit tall. From here, let's work some seated chair circles. I invite you to conceive of your torso as a pencil. We don't want that pencil to bend. We want to keep equal weight on both sits bones as we circle for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's work those chair circles again the other way. Again, pencil circles here. And keep the spine in one line for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to work those chair circles the other way, but this time think of a very loose rubber pencil as we shift away from sits bone to sits bone. And definitely that spine is not in one line here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now taking those big rubber pencil circles the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And back to 7. Again, feel free to do this with me as we align our bodies, ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips as we sit tall. So many of us are probably in front of our computers or close by. We've been doing this all day. So let's open up 4th and 5th chakra with this letter W shape. As we hold this shape, bringing the elbows back, the hands come with, and I invite you to wiggle those fingers. Just enjoying the stretch, feeling the scapula widening away from back heart, and breathing into that sense of space. So scapula are your shoulder blades. And then back to center. Let's do 3 lion breaths. This is a fun exercise just to release tension. The idea is we take a big breath in. We're going to roar it out as we stick out our tongue. And it looks like this. Big breath in. And then big breath in. One more here. Big breath in. And we've got those little lion paws on our knees. A nice way to sit up straight and tall is to bring those paws, those hands onto our knees, and you pull back. And then you can feel the scapula engaged as we find a little more length through all sides of the neck. Again, a slight tuck of the chin as we take our breath in. Let's work with our wrists a little bit. A lot of times we've been keyboarding or on our phones, the wrists get a little tense. So I invite you to find a clasp of the fingers and then keeping the heels of the hands together as we circle our wrists. And then taking those wrist circles the other way. And then let's come back center and let's find the odd clasp of the fingers as we walk the fingers one over. Now we're going to keep the forearms connected as we circle those wrists. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and releasing. Palms on our thighs, pulling back with those hands to sit up straight and tall. From here, let's find bird beak hands. So 4 fingers cap the top of the thumb. This is actually a defensive maneuver. If ever you want to strike someone in the eye, this makes it nice. If you're wearing glasses, not so much, but you can still throw them off their paces if you're ever in a situation, which sometimes we are. We bring our bird beaks onto our shoulders. We lean a little bit forward. We roll one shoulder front and then the other. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll take it the other way for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And down. Let's sneak in a letter W shape as we feel the stretch, 4th and 5th chakra, heart and throat, lift to the chin, wiggling those fingers, feels so, so good. And then hands on our thighs. Let's work with our neck a little bit. A lot of times we hold tension here, we hold tension in the neck, we also hold it in the jaw. And we'll address all 3, but let's work on the neck right now. As we look up and down. Up and down. We'll do 6. Here's 3. 3 more to go. Last 2. And last 1. Let's hold that look up as we enjoy a nice stretch in the base of the throat. Now finding a tuck of the chin as we enjoy a nice stretch in the back of the neck. And then lifting the chin tall through the crown, ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips as we sit tall. From here, let's pretend there's a tennis ball on either side of our neck. And we take little side bends with the neck. We're going to bring it up and over the ball. So we're not crunching into the stretch. We're lengthening as we take an ear to one shoulder. Back through center, finding that length as we take ear to other shoulder. And back and forth. We'll do 6. Here comes 2.5. Here comes 3. Halfway done. 2 more each way. And last one each side. Let's hold as we get a little longer in that neck. Maybe we go a little bit further over that invisible tennis ball. Back through center, second side, up and over that other tennis ball. And then back to center. Let me go sideways on this one. I'll just go sideways in the chair just so you can see the action a little bit more. I call this the tortoise. As we stick the chin out, and then we draw the chin back. Just back and forth. Here's 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. We get 5, and we'll hold 6 as we jut the chin out. We go maybe a little further. We draw the chin back. Maybe we take it a little further, and then back to center. Ears over shoulders, ears and shoulders over hips as we sit tall. So let's work the jaw a little bit here. So shoulders, neck, jaw, it's all kind of right here. We all are in that place a lot of times. So we want to free up those spaces as we chase away any tension with movement and breath. So I'll invite you just to open and close your jaw, just keeping it loose. And then we'll bring the jaw, keeping the jaw loose, and we'll take it from side to side. And then back to center as we sit tall. One more time, let's sneak in a nice letter W, stretching it out, wiggling those fingers. And then hands on our thighs. This is a real fun one. So the idea is we inhale the ears up to the shoulders, On the exhale, we're just going to let them drop. So it looks like this. We'll do 6. Inhale. On the exhale, out through the mouth, just let those shoulders drop. That was 2. Here's 3. Last 2. Last one. And just letting those shoulders be heavy. From here, let's enjoy a nice massage here. I'm going to take my glasses off. I like to do this with my glasses. You might put yours on a table. Sometimes I forget, and if I'm leaning over, my glasses fall onto the floor, which is not so good for the glasses over time. So I'd like you to take your hands, and let's just massage our scalp. Lots of nerve endings in the scalp. Should feel pretty good. Now we'll take our fingers to our brow, and let's just smooth that brow out. A lot of times, when we get anxious or concerned, we start to furrow the brow, so let's just smooth those furrows out. Action in reverse, it's like smiling in a mirror. Sometimes you make yourself happy. When we smooth out our brow, sometimes we calm ourselves down. Now let's take our hands, gently just circling our temples, the place where we tend to display tension, and then taking those circles the other way. One of my favorite exercises to release and relax tension is palming the eyes. So I invite you to rub your palms together, generating some heat. And then with the eyes gently closed, we'll bring those heated palms gently onto the eyes, letting the warmth of the palms penetrate through the very center of your eyeballs. Let's do that a couple more times, warming up our palms, and then bringing those warm palms onto closed eyes. Last one here, warming up those palms, and then bringing those warm palms onto closed eyes. And then hands on our thighs. From here, let's continue the massage as we massage our cheekbones. You might get a little bit under the eyes. Now we're going to come to our jaw, just massaging our jaw. This is a place where the jaw connects. And let's massage our nose. This one feels good if you have got an itchy nose, of course. And now I'll invite you to stick your fingers in your ears and just massaging your ears. Keeping your fingers in your ears, hopefully you can still hear me. I'll invite you to buzz like a bee. Buzzing like a bee again. Buzzing like a bee one more time. Now taking those hands to the back of our neck. Oh, it feels so good. And then working up to the back of the skull, finding that occiput, that place where the spine joins into the brain. Notice how your face softens. We hold a lot of facial tension in this place. Now bringing one hand on a thigh, one hand finds a shoulder, just massaging your shoulder. Just imagining you've got nice relaxed shoulders. Any areas of tension, spending a little extra time on, a little extra pressure. And another hand finds the other thigh, massaging that other shoulder. It feels so good. Now I'll invite you to bring your hands just above your heart. I'm going to put my glasses back on here. And just massaging on down. From here, let's bring our fingers onto our low back and just massaging our low back. Now taking the heels of the hands to our hips, just getting into those hips. You might make soft fists, light taps. Let me go sideways on this one so you can see it. So let's go long through a leg. We'll start at the top of the thigh, just massaging all sides of the thigh. When we find the knee, a hand on each side. Fingers find the back of the knee. And giving that kneecap a little wiggle. Depending on how far you can go down, maybe you start to massage that calf muscle. Finding the Achilles tendon. And maybe massaging that foot. Coming back up, other leg long, we'll start at the top of the thigh, just massaging all sides of the thigh. Finding the knee, each side of the knee, just warming up the connective tissues. Bring more prana, more healing force into that place. Fingers find the back of the knee. And giving that kneecap a little wiggle. Depending on where you can go as far as you can, massaging that calf. Getting to the Achilles tendon. And then massaging the foot. And then back up. Let's work our arms a little bit. So one hand massages the upper arm, other side. We can get to that elbow. We can press a thumb into the eye of the elbow. Massaging that forearm. We get to the wrist, warming it as we circle it with thumb and forefinger. And then spreading the hand wide, and we'll do one finger at a time as we lengthen those fingers with the other hand. Getting that thumb, and then taking other thumb into that place in the center of the hand where everything leads to. So the 5 fingers and thumb, massaging that place. And then give that hand a little shake. Working the other arm, we start upper arm, we work our way down. We get to our elbow, thumb can find the eye of the elbow. Oh, feels so good. And then we start to massage that forearm. And then we use thumb and forefinger to massage or circle the wrists. And then spreading that hand wide as we lengthen each finger. And we get that thumb. And then taking the other thumb to the center of the hand, where all the fingers and the thumb lead to or originate from, depending on your perspective. And then giving that hand a little shake. I'll invite you to look at your hands. What color are they? Mine are warm, pink, and dry, which is a first responder. How does someone look? They look warm, pink, and dry. That's a good thing. Cold, blue, and shaking, or wet, sweaty, not so good. So hopefully it's hot, so you might be a little sweaty, but hopefully you've got a nice pink color there, and your skin is warm and relatively dry. From here, let's work a couple of breath exercises, and then we'll meditate for a couple of minutes. So I invite you to bring one hand on the heart, other hand on the belly, and we'll do a 3-part inhale and a 3-part exhale. As we breathe into belly hand, breathing in between the hands. Breathing into heart hand. Now breathing out from heart hand. Breathing out between the 2 hands. Breathing out from belly hand. Breathing into belly hand. Between the 2 hands. Heart hand. Breathing out heart hand. Between the 2 hands. Belly hand. One more time, breathing into belly hand. Between the 2 hands. Heart hand. Breathing out from heart hand. Between the 2 hands. And belly hand. And then a long, smooth breath in. And a long, smooth breath. So let's work the Sitali breath, which is a cooling breath before we meditate for a minute or so. Making an O with the lips, curling the tongue if you can. If you can't, no big deal. One of the few yoga breaths where we breathe in through the mouth. So curling the lips, or O-ing the lips, curling the tongue, breathing in, sipping through a straw. Closing the lips, breathing out through the nose. Sitali breath in as we O the lips and curl the tongue if you can. Closing the lips, breathing out through the nose. One more Sitali breath in. Closing the lips out through the nose. And just keeping your breath free and easy. I'll invite you to close your eyes and let's sit for a minute or so, watching our thoughts like we might watch clouds in the sky. Still sitting in meditation, I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I invite you to hear the striking of the tone, its duration, its subsequent diminution, and then the ambient sounds thereof. Now gently opening your eyes. A slight tuck of the chin. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A slight bow as you thank yourself for practicing chair yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within me honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me. Any comments or suggestions, please either comment right now or if you're watching this video for later on, feel free to comment then. Any areas of the body you want to work on. Always love to come up with different sequences. And the chair sequence is nice because it's something you can do pretty much at your office. It doesn't have to be half an hour. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So there's lots of takeaways. And feel free to take these things away. Excellent. Have an excellent, excellent day. I'm teaching live yoga classes here in San Francisco. I teach on Zoom with the Bay Club, and I also teach these classes on my FB page. So love to have you here, and we'll see you soon, either virtually or live in class. Namaste. Have a nice, nice day.